Lays it back for Zadkovich. What a strike by Ruben Zadkovich! From a long range, he's levelled things up at NIB Stadium. Unbelievable finish from Ruben Zadkovich.
I was the youngest of three brothers, so like you do, you kind of do what they do. And our dad was a rugby player, and he was quite a good rugby player. Played Queensland country, and was a playmaker, and that was his game. But Luke, the oldest brother, took up football at 5 and 6, and then the next brother in line, Simon, followed suit, and then I followed suit for the two older ones. And so it just kind of happened naturally. And from a young age, it was something I loved, and then it was something that I was good at. Early doors, under 5s, under 6s, under 7s type thing. You just know straight away you're scoring all the goals. You just have a natural talent to the game, and I kind of just followed that. I followed the enjoyment, side of it all the way through. Ooh, it's a big question. So the older I got, the more it became less about me, and just became about the feeling that you get when you work in a team environment, and the people and the friendships that you make, and the memories you create that no one can take from you. It's all of that for me that I love about the game. I love the contrast of styles. I love the contrast of personalities and characters. I love the contrast of cultures and the clash of cultures from international football. I love that the different leagues in the world vary so much. I just love, to be honest, I love everything about the game. But the biggest one is the people involved, the opinions, and how it can divide people, but also it can bring communities and people together. So that's what I love most about it. I was the captain of the club there. There was a bit of a shake-up at the club, and from a financial point of view, I was told, you're the highest paid midfielder we've got, we want to bring in some attacking players, this type of thing. It's all part of the game. It was a strange one because the club never spoke to me about it. From a manager point of view, they hired Phil Stubbins, who came into the role, but he refused to speak to me, which was interesting because I was the captain of the club for a few years. So I found it strange that conversation never wanted to happen. So I didn't waste much time. I had a phone call from Kenny Lowe. He kind of, as Kenny Lowe does, he laughed. He just got on the phone, laughed, and said, "Mate, come to Perth. I'll look after you. You can have the same contract. Come and do what you do there for me. I'd be happy to have you." So that was a really easy decision because I was leaving a club where the manager didn't want to speak with me to go and play for a manager who was, in his own words, wanted me to be everything that I am for him. So that was an easy move, and I certainly don't regret because, like I say, I had some great memories here before I got injured. The first year was it was personality. Again, I go back to, you asked why I love the game, personalities and friendships made and stuff. So, and when I go through the squad, you've got Denny Vukovic, Scott Jemison, best mates and ripping each other's heads off every day at training. Andy Kerr, me and him have been, really good mates. He's one of my best friends. So straight away I've got Andy there, and he's a miserable bastard most of the time at training as well, doesn't speak. And then you've got people like Mitch Nichols was here, an exceptional talent and a funny character. Roston Griffiths, smart, always got an opinion, but again, a fantastic player. And he just kept going through the squad. It was just interesting and intelligent footballer or person in all different positions. And we had a lot of success that year, that first year I was here, and we won a lot of games. I think it was 19 weeks we were top of the league there. So leaving a club like Newcastle, which was always under-resourced and underfunded and didn't have that same calibre of player, I just enjoyed the fact that I was mixing it with players that made me laugh, that helped me win games, and it really was a basket case at times in terms of just all the different voices and opinions at training. But then we had a real tight knit. You had Dino Djulbic and Michael Thwaite at the back. It was just personality after personality, and we had a lot of joy and a lot of wins and a lot of good memories off the back of that. And I mean, I had my share of injuries among that time, but even the way those boys rallied around me when I was injured, and being told that you'll never play again, with a knee injury at 27, was heartbreaking to say the least. I think that's just my personality. I need to have something that I'm focused on, and for 27 years, or as early as I could remember, it was just football. That was my thing, and whatever I achieved in the game was off the back of just hard work. Like, I had to go and earn everything, like I say. So, and that was my drive, that was my direction, that was my focus. To be told you can't do that anymore, it's daunting. And like you see the articles, you read about it, the mental state that some players can find themselves in transitioning out of the game. For me, I'm lucky in terms of I have a great family support, and I have a great friendship and group of friends behind me, and people in my life that I could easily lean on and tell them what I think and feel, and get that support back. And I think that's a big thing about Perth Glory. When I think back to those personalities, there's not one person in that team that wasn't there for me. And I mean big personalities in big ways. When Dino Djurbic tells you that he's there for you and looks you in the eye, he's there for you. Whether that's something like an Andy Keogh, who his loyalty to me as a friend, he doesn't say much, but all he would say is, I'm here for you. So there was players there that understood how I was feeling. Coaching staff included. Kenny Lowe was a great support for me. And he basically said, look, you've got another year here, regardless. And if you can't play, we'd like you to help out with the youth team. Maybe that's something. And I'm sure those boys would really like it. And at first I was like, look, that's not where my heart and mind is at the moment, but I'll go and help out. And like, whether that's the the skill of the man Kenny, just to be able to see that, I'm sure if I send Ruben down there, he'll soon make that his focus. After a week or two, I loved it. I loved the fact that there was young boys there at 6 in the morning, rocking up in the dark, and then, really, it reminded me of what it was like before I had made it, and all the hard work and that struggle that I had, and you could see it on their faces of these young kids that are looking to you for the answer and looking to you for direction. And so the focus became away from me and my injury and onto someone else, which is always a nice feeling. So yeah, I just loved coaching, and I think then I realised very quickly, so all of the feelings I had as a player were always about, okay, these are my weaknesses. I don't have all of the skills, I don't have all of the knowledge, I don't have all of the physical attributes, like you're limited in certain areas. Then I started to go through the process as a coach, and what I would look at then, okay, my direction's changed, what makes a good coach and a good manager, and I felt, pretty early on, I tick a lot of these boxes, and there's still certainly heaps of areas to work on that can improve, but I just felt there's a natural attraction and a natural understanding for this, and then all of the analytical side of the game and the thinking approach to the game, that comes naturally to me, and then the understanding of emotions and people and, being a leader, well, that comes naturally to me. And then I started to just apply that trade, in little parts, mind you, under John Gibson there with the youth team, but built relationships with the players really quickly. And I just loved it. And then as soon as I made that decision that was going to be my focus, that's it. I've got the bit between my teeth, and I'm not going to let it go. So now I'm still in that process of learning and growing and becoming a better coach, but my drive and ambition is big, and it will remain that way for as long as it's my focus. To be honest, I loved it. So it never bothered me to get stick off the other fans, and Perth was always a place you'd get a bit of stick. To be honest, always in good spirit here at Perth. You've got that English UK influence here in Perth, which you don't have so much in Sydney. It's a lot more like, it's very multicultural in Sydney. You've got all these different ethnicities and clubs that stick together, and it's a different type of feel, which is great as well. But in Perth, it had that English influence. It was like you're going away to an League One team at times, or a championship team, and you're going to cop it. But I enjoyed that when I played against Perth, but I always felt like what a tough place to come, because the crowd get involved, and they're great passionate supporters in Perth. It was always a really tough trip. So then you flip the script, and back then I joined a team full of good players, good people, with a good crowd and good energy coming from the stands. I remember saying to friends and family back home, and they're like, "How are you enjoying it?" And I just stand in the centre circle and watch my teammates play, and we're scoring goals and winning games. It was like it became easy. and comfortable, and I loved it. I actually loved playing for Perth. I loved the stadium and I loved the people. Yeah, I will for sure. Like I say, I love that challenge. I love the game. I love game day. I love white line when the whistle goes now as a coach. But in saying that, one of the nice things about being a coach is you wake up thinking about everybody else. So it used to be like, I can't wait to play. I can't wait to attack the game. I can't wait to mark him. And now it becomes, I can't wait to see my players mark those good players. I can't wait to see what do my staff need? What do my, have I organised everything for my staff? Do they need a hand? The picture becomes a lot bigger as a manager, and so a little bit like being a father, the goalposts change when you become a coach, and you wake up thinking about everybody else, and that's a nice feeling for me.